everyone, it's Claire from Diamond Painting Nerd, and today I am going to show you how I'm creating my own canvas to work on. I'm doing this by using cardstock. I'm not going to be actually using a canvas. It's going to be a cardstock base that I'm going to print from home. I have a large format printer, but you can do the same on an A4 a standard printer as well, and just use more pieces that you then pull together to make one large painting. So my little custom painting that I'm going to be doing in May is this one, and I've used pixel stitch to create this image. And I have it printed out. I didn't necessarily need to do this because I'm going to be working from Pattern Keeper on my tablet. But I need to print my canvases. So I'm only going to show you one in this video. And then I will show you the process throughout where I create my picture. And then I will be piecing them all together at the end once I'm finished. So as I said, I have the advantage of having a large format printer, which means that I can print in A3 plus actually. But I want to show you how easy it is to be able to print your own canvas at home. This is mainly for square drills. So let's go. Okay, so first off, what you want to do is go to Google and type in Master graph paper. And then you'll get this website, and this is where you generate your graph paper. So the pattern we want, square grid. The paper size you select, I'm going with A3. The orientation stays at portrait. The line colour I'm leaving as black. The line width I'm going to change to 0.5. I don't want the line to be too thick. The grid spacing is 0.25, which is the size of a square drill. I'm leaving the border size at 0.25 inches, and then on the heavier lines, I'm changing that to 10 to allow me to have a heavier line every 10, so I can easily keep track of where I'm at. So there we are, I've just generated that, and then I'm just going to go ahead and open it up on my computer, select my printer, and I will just send that over. As I said, I'm printing on A3, but you would do exactly the same process on A4. You would just have more sheets to be working on. Okay, so I've printed my canvas in A3, and as I said, you can do exactly the same for A4 or 8.5 by 11. All you need to do is change the paper size to I think it's legal, I think, for US, and A4 for the UK, but exactly the same settings as I showed you on that, apart from the paper size, and then it prints like this. Now, I have already done a test run, so this is printed on 160 GSM. It's a thicker paper, it's not cardstock, and the problem is obviously trying to get a thicker cardstock through the printer. I think I could probably go thicker. So I think this is going to be a trial and error situation for me, testing it out. Now, I have... Oh, that one's moved. I did do a test run. So this was my test run. And I did it just to make sure that the drills fit nicely in the boxes. And they fit perfectly. So all I did was just added a strip of double-sided tape just to test that out. But I'm not going to sit here and add... lots of double-sided tape onto my canvas. Instead, I am going to be using larger A4 sheets of double-sided tape. So obviously double-sided tape on a canvas is not as forgiving to work with as poured glue, but we're making a DIY canvas, so we're making this work for us. And so this is how it's going to work. So I'm going to apply this double-sided tape across my canvas. Now, I'm not too sure. I think I need 2. Yeah, because it's A3. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim it down slightly. So I'm going to leave myself a little bit of an overhang so it's not over the edges too much. So I think what I'm going to do is just trim off maybe trim off, maybe I'll try 1 centimetre first, since we're working in metric, and then we'll see how that lines up. I'm going to give myself a little bit of wiggle room over the edges, which can then be trimmed off afterwards anyway. Okay, and that's going to work perfectly. So I'm happy with that. So it's just a case then of getting this stuck down, but I also need to trim off 1 centimetre from this one too. And I'm going to end up trimming off a little more from this one because of the top edge, so I don't want it overhanging. So when I line up my 2 sheets of adhesive, they're going to line up really nicely along here. And then I'm just going to mark it. Let's grab a pen. I'm going to mark it just so I know where I want to trim that off. So let's pop that in the trimmer, and you can use ruler and scissors if you don't have a trimmer. So I'm just going to trim the excess off of that, so we don't need those bits. Now is the tricky part, because these are double-sided adhesive sheets, but they have plastic on both sides. So trying to get the plastic off, as I've experienced, is not the easiest. So I could be here about half an hour just trying to get the backing off of these. But what I'm going to do is, whatever corner I end up mashing up trying to get the adhesive, the backing sheet off, I will make sure that's not going to be applied to my canvas. So I'm going to grab, let me just grab one of my pokey tools, which is the official term for this tool. I'm going to see if I can just get this in. There we are. So that's helped a lot. Now I've lost it. I can just get in between. There we go. Okay, so I have my backing pulled off, and I'm not going to pull it all the way back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start in one corner, and I'm going to pop it down. But what I want to do is I want to make sure that I line it up with one of these lines. So this might be a little fiddly to get started, but we will get there. So once I've got the line, I can see it properly. There we go. And then the rest of it should go down perfectly. Okay, so now I don't want any bubbles in this, so I've already messed that up. I'm going to iron those out. Okay, so I needed to get this nice and flat first. It's going to be okay. That's not going to be too bad. Oh, goodness me. Why? Why did that have to happen? And I've done this. I've already put a sheet down on A4 to test it, and I had no issue at all. But obviously, whilst filming, something's always going to happen, right? So I've got a little tool. Where's my little... Here we go. A little scrapey tool. I'm hoping I can get this to flatten out nicely with this. Try and push the air bubbles out. That should be all right. They don't feel huge in there. This is part of the problem with, you know, making your own canvas, but you know, this is quite fun. I'm not relying on a company to print a canvas for me. I can do this whenever I like. So what I'm going to do is just run this scrapey tool, and you can use like the edge of a credit card to get the same effect. So I'm just going to run this whilst pulling that backing sheet back nice and slowly so it doesn't create any pockets of air. And then all the way across. That's gone down really nicely, and keep going. There we go. Okay, so I have my first sheet done. Now I'm not going to remove the top because I will do that when I am working on the canvas, and I'll continue to give that a little scrape. So what I need to do now is I now need to line this one up with this one and get this down, just making sure that I don't have a gap between the two sheets. So I'm going to do the same again. Where's my little pokey tool gone? Oh, he's over there. And I'm just going to pop this in, trying to get a bit of a gap. Am I in? I think I'm in. Okay, so again, I'm probably just gonna pull a corner back so I can get this lined up. And then, actually I need the other corner. Just so I can get this lined up, and then I can go ahead and start pulling the rest of the sheet back. So let's hold this back, get this corner lined up. Try not to do what I've just done and put your hand fully on it. So I've now got fingerprints on it, but obviously it's going to get covered by drills. So okay, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm trying to see where the lip is. I'm just going to make sure. Actually, probably what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to do all of this side and get this all nice and lined up to make sure that I don't have a gap in the adhesive. So let's pull this back and just make sure that as I do this, it lines up. Okay. Oh, well done, Claire. That's right, most of that is on the outside. So, and you can't really, because it's the double-sided tape, it doesn't really forgive and pull back very well, because this is what happens. Okay, I'm going to have to go with it, even though I've got a massive bubble in that. Oh, what is wrong with me? Just pay closer attention than what I'm doing when you do this. But yeah, this is the trouble with using double-sided adhesive. There is no room for forgiveness or maneuver, and so if you make a mistake, then yeah, you end up with the air bubbles. So it's fine, because I will just continue to iron those out. It seems to be pulling up as well. I don't know why I'm having so much issue. I did it on an A4 and I literally went down perfectly. So I don't know why I'm having such problems with doing it on the larger scale A3, but there we are. So let's just pull that off. And we've got this wanting to lift, and it's probably because I manipulated it a little bit. So yeah, I've got a little bit of an air bubble just there and over here, but apart from that, it's gone down really nicely. It butts up. There's I can see a hairline gap, so I might just add, when I come to that row, I might just add a little bit more adhesive just so it doesn't buckle. Now, obviously, as I said, I did this on 160 GSM. I know you're not meant to roll double-sided adhesive, but I'm doing it because I'm a rebel. I just want this canvas to flatten out. So I now have my canvas ready, albeit with a horrific bend mark in, but I don't care. It'll be fine. I know it'll be all right. And then what I'll do is, as I work on this, I'll probably section it off and actually just cut away the top layer and then peel it off when I'm working on it. So yeah, all I've got to do is get my nail in between the cover paper and then peel it off like you would anything else. It will be a little more difficult because of the type of double-sided adhesive this is, coming on their own sheets, but it'll be fine. And I'm super excited to be able to work on this, my own canvas with my own photo. And so yeah, it'd be really really fun to do. So I hope if you're exploring the diamond painting world of making your own canvases and doing your own custom pieces, that this has given you some inspiration. You can print your own grids in order to do this. The other thing I was going to say is actually the when you add the adhesive on, the adhesive sheets, it's going to make this thicker anyway. So that's probably gone up to 250 GSM with that. I know that I've got obviously the cover sheet on, but that's probably gone up to a 250 GSM now with that adhesive layer on as well. So it has made it a lot thicker. Stay tuned for videos on me working on this project as well. If you've got any questions, then feel free to drop them in the comments down below. I will leave a link to the website where you can go and use that to create your own grids. Really useful resource if you're wanting to give this a go. And yeah, really excited to get this underway and get this started. So thanks so much for joining me for today's video. If you found it useful and informative, please, as always, if you can give the video a thumbs up. If you're new here, please subscribe to my channel and leave me any comments down below, any questions like that, drop them in the comments box down below. And I'll see you all again next time. Bye.